Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I just hope that you're doing fine wherever you are today. This is Eugene Talk Stories and I hope that you're doing fine wherever you are.
Be an exemplary type of stupid to believe that Jesus of Nazareth, Christ the King, was a black African Nubian man, a sub-Saharan African man. Let's go back to 10,000 BCE. Anatolian farmer DNA. Here's the modern distribution, but Anatolian farmer DNA is coming from Anatolia here, but it was also in the Levant. If you're completely lacking any anthropological evidence or genetic research, and you just go on dogma from the internet, then sure, you could claim that anybody at all times was black. All of these white people in history were black. Arab people and Persian people were...
My guy, first of all, you trying to call us stupid from reading from the Bible and going off based what the scriptures are saying. Not even just what the scriptures are saying, what history is even saying. So, you gonna tell me that the Messiah is not of a black man when the Bible literally says that the color of his feet was the color of burnt brass that was burnt in a furnace? First of all, brass is already a black person. Let's be for real. And now burnt brass? Baby, not only was the Messiah a black man, he was a black man. Like, y'all gotta be for real. Y'all steady keep saying the Messiah is an olive skin color, an olive tone skin color. What the heck is an olive skin color? Because based off the scriptures, baby, you keep talking about an olive skin color. Well, I only know two olives, the green olive and the black olive. And based off the scriptures, the Messiah is the black olive. Based off the scriptures, the Messiah is the black olive. And I'm just being for real. I'm just being for real. Y'all keep talking about, it's not talking about woolly hair in the Bible. So it's going to say that the Messiah's hair is white as wool, as white as snow. It's already telling you the color. It says white and white as snow. So why add wool in there? That's because it's talking about the texture of the Messiah's hair. And everybody know woolly hair is of a black person. Like, come on, y'all got to be for real. Y'all gotta be for real. If you scared to worship a black man, just say that. Hey, it's easier to do that than to lie on the scriptures. It's easier to just say you don't want to worship a black Messiah or a black God. Just say that. Please just say that. I promise you, it's way easier. It's way easier, bro. Because you can't fight facts with your feelings, dog. And even when I commented on your video, you couldn't even come back with actual facts back towards me. The only
Usual, in the past, Jesus was not black according to what white people believed. And now the reality came out, the vaults were open. And I know already some black people who are so much into history, who are so much into the origin of black Jesus, or generally who Jesus was, already knew the color of Jesus. But then, those times, Jesus was a white person. And that's what most of the people knew, or some of the people who still don't believe that Jesus was black. That's what they honestly believe. Now people came and discovered the truth. After people discovering the truth, now that's when white people are now coming and saying that, Jesus is for everyone. It's not only for black people. It doesn't belong to one particular group. Now you understand that there is a game that these people are playing. And as I told you in one of the other videos that I also did, which is quite similar to this, they are going through something called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is internal conflict between yourself, because you've grown believing something, and you've grown believing that you are great. You've grown believing that you are much way better than other people. But now when the reality hits you, you get to realize that no, it's not the truth as you believe. So you find yourself conflicted. So this conflict is what is called the cognitive dissonance, and this is what white people go through. It is hard to accept defeat, and this is why it's not easier for white people to accept that Jesus was a black person. And I also recognize the fact that we have white people who believe that Jesus was a black people. And you realize that most of the preachers, especially when it comes to describing like who really was Jesus, where he came from, his origin, and generally his history, you'll try them trying to say that he was not so much black. he was not white. They don't accept the fact that Jesus was black, the word purely black. The eastern part of the Middle East, say that's the Egypt. This is one of the places where people and history accords to where Jesus really came from. So if you look at the maps and the history and who are the indigenous people who are in Egypt, you'll get to realize that the indigenous people who are in Egypt were the black people. So when the indigenous people were in Egypt were the black people, this honestly tells you the color of Jesus, and this stresses his genealogy from the memorial time where he came from. You realize that these depictions gives us the true picture of Jesus. And today I have a presentation, not a presentation, but there's this video that I want us to watch and get to hear white people's perspective about who is Jesus. You realize that some who are accepting are trying to twist the truth. They're trying to make it look like Jesus is not white and Jesus is not black and Jesus is for us all. Well, it is true, Jesus is for us all, but why was when people believe that Jesus was white, he was only for white people? That's a question that I would like to know from people who are watching this video. This is something that I honestly really want to know, because we in Africa, we grew knowing that Jesus was a white person. So it is just like a year ago when the vaults were open and people get to know the truth. That's when we get to know that Jesus was a black person. Now when Jesus is a black person, now Jesus is for everyone, both black and white people. Who is playing who? So let's dive right into the video, and then I'll come back with my commentary in regards to their stipulation.
Anything you could try to talk about was my followers and views. Like, that's the worst thing you can do to me, because my literal slogan is literally facts over feelings. So you can't argue with my facts with your feelings. Like, it doesn't make sense. You keep doing all this stuff talking about he's Middle Eastern. Look at the Middle Eastern people here now. I don't care how the Middle Eastern people look here now. Everybody know back then the Middle East was called Northeast Africa. The Middle East is literally Northeast Africa. Come on. You mean to tell me they hit a pale skinned person in Africa? How you gonna hide a pale skinned white person, or even an even tone person in Africa full of dark black people? They could not have hit the Messiah in Africa during those times if he was pale skinned in any type of way. He wasn't pale skinned in any type of way. Like, come on. And you trying to be funny with saying, if you look on the Wikipedia and all this stuff, then you will see that. I mean, you can use back then that everybody was black. That's because back then, everybody was black. Come on, science even tell you that the pale pigmentation is a mutation that happened throughout the years. Like, be for real. Everybody on every single part of this land, anywhere in the world, was all of dark-skinned people. There was no pale people on the land at those times. Like, y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop. Like, if you don't want to worship a black man, just say that. If you don't want to worship a black man, just say that. I promise you, it's way easier. It's way easier. If you don't want to worship a black man, it's easier to say that than to lie on the scriptures. Because everything goes against what you're saying. History goes against what you're saying. The scriptures go against what you're saying. Like, even your emotions is going against what you're saying, because you have no facts. You just going off of just crying. For what, dog? For what? You trying so hard to prove something that you can't even prove yourself. Like, just stop. It don't even get that deep. It don't even get that deep. And a lot of y'all gonna say, skin color don't matter. If it didn't matter, why they change it? If it didn't matter, why they change it? That's because the truth matters. Because once you find out the truth about the Messiah, you'll find out the truth about who the real Jews are. Y'all don't want to know that. So, like, at the end of the day, like, you getting so mad at the people in your comments and all that stuff because you can't prove what you're trying to say yourself. Come on, everything goes against what you're saying. History, artifacts, the Bible itself. Y'all just gonna keep trying to come up with something to disprove the facts. And I don't know why. Well, I do know why. Y'all just don't want to worship a black man. And I understand. Y'all was taught all these years for generations and generations that y'all were superior. I understand. So it hurts to know that you're worshiping a black person. I understand. Your feelings hurt. But it's okay. We all gonna live through it. We didn't care when we was worshiping a white man this whole time based off your lies. So you don't care. I mean, remember, skin color don't matter. That's what y'all say. Skin color don't matter. So let's not make it matter. Go on about your day. Because at the end of the day, we're going to believe in Romans 3 and 4. Let God be the truth and every man a liar. And one thing I'm going to tell you is let the truth set you free.
Do you guys believe in the classically accepted appearance of Jesus Christ?
No, Jesus did not have blonde hair and blue eyes. He was not a Westerner. He was a Jew. Obviously, there's been a boatload of racism that has been justified in the name of Christianity. Prejudice against Arab people, against African Americans. There's been a bunch of anti-Semitism in the name of Christianity. It's sick. It's sad. Jesus does not come for one race. He comes for the world. He loves every single one of us.
I don't know why everybody is all of a sudden confessing their sins and wrongdoings, but do y'all see the people over in Jerusalem, those priests who are literally worshiping and kissing the slab of where Jesus was crucified, and they have this picture of Jesus that they are literally worshiping and doing all this prayer with, and the damn picture is black, honey. And then I'm looking and they got another festival that's going on in Jerusalem where they are also worshiping a black Jesus. The only people who are still fucking around is the goddamn Vatican, where the Pope is sitting up there with a picture of white Jesus on his shirt, but even still he look a little Middle Eastern. I'm about to show y'all, but my point is, if the world is finna end and y'all think black people is finna save y'all, we not finna save y'all. I find it suspicious. I find it very weird that after Putin comes out and he's like, hey y'all, we got this vote, these people, yeah, after he basically showed us they were stealing and hiding artifacts, whatever, now everybody want to worship black images of Christ and Israelites. I have never seen the people who be talking about we are the real Jews. I have never seen them on the podcast. Why are they all of a sudden now on the podcast? And I have been getting so much fucking backlash. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe the amount of people telling me that the color of Christ don't matter. This is a holy ceremony in Jerusalem. That is the slab where Jesus Christ was crucified. They have that. Look at that picture. What color does Jesus look like? See y'all. Cause he damn sure don't look like the Michelangelo Machiavelli white person I've been seeing. And please, y'all, please, cause this is blowing my mind. Something is up. Something is up. I honestly believe that we are like the age of Aquarius, bro. Everything is being exposed, and the fact that it took for another country to say, hey, y'all lying to these people are different. I don't know. Is black people the only people who can fight the evil? I don't know, but it's a little late to try to get on our good side. And for all of y'all who's saying it don't matter, it matters. It fucking matters, especially how I grew up being called the N-word daily, shoved into lockers, had to sue my high school to graduate. White people mess with me so bad, and I still love them. I love everybody, no matter what the skin color is. But at this moment right now, for people to be trying to come forward with biblically correct information after hiding it for years.
Jesus was from the tribe of Judah.
Right.
Judah was the bluest, blackest of the 12. They were known for their nappy hair and purple skin. His mother hid him in Kemet, Egypt. Named Egypt by the Greeks, it means land of the blacks. There's no way you're going to hide a white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed child in a country of blue, black, purple African people. So we know what Jesus looked like. Why the church okay Why is the black church okay not seeing their Lord and Savior represented as he was? Let's keep on going. The title Christ, which comes from an African word, karas, which speaks to the spirit that rises within. In ancient Africa, no one would have been given the title Christ if your skin was not kissed of the sun. In those days, I would be too white to be a savior, because back then, divinity was black. Asaru, one of the manifestations of God consciousness, was called Lord of the perfect black. Blackness was divinity. That's why every religious teacher was black and nappy. Nobody looked like white with blonde hair and blue eyes. That's a recent creation of the pale man. The question is, why are black churches so content with having a false image of Jesus that they know is false in their church instead of a real historical depiction? And by the way, the oldest original painting of Christ right now, I believe it's in the museum in Egypt. It's the oldest one. And guess what? Everybody blue, black, purple. And I believe it was drawn from life. Everybody was blue, black, purple, including Jesus. Undeniably black.
So first, I like this lady, and I've seen him for the longest time trying to defend the truth, and the truth shall set us free. And that's what I really love about this lady. She comes out, explains the truth to the people, and sometimes I see her going one-on-one on debate with these people who are especially trying to doubt the fact that Jesus was not a black person. I don't know how long will we continue arguing about this, but I believe that, when a person says that the color of Jesus is not important, what I would like to say is this: if the color of Jesus is not important, why were you okay when it was predominantly known to be white, yet that was not the truth? Who is playing who? That's a question that I really want to know from you. Who is really playing who? So Jesus is black, and the color really matters, because we really get to know the true depiction of Jesus. There is no way you can wake up in the morning and tell me that the color of Jesus is not important, because it tells us the genealogy, it tells us the place, it gives us the history, time, and how people looked at in a given place. Now, when archaeologists come together and studies a place, they study the skulls, the remains of the people. One of the things that they look at is their structure, their face, their skin color. How did they look? Generally, it is that's what's really important. And for us to know what people look like, their skin color really matters. The tools that they used really matter. So amongst other things which archaeologists usually look when it comes to doing research in the type of people who existed in a given place at a particular time, right? Because even if we look at, we say that Africa is the cradle of mankind, right? So if Africa is the cradle of mankind, they investigated who are first people in Africa. How did they look like? What was their, what covered their skin? Those are really things that archaeologists looks like. So when people come out and get to know the truth that he looked in a given way, now people are starting to debate how really now Jesus is not white, Jesus is not black. Now that's what they're trying to say. Don't agree with the narrative. This is what is called the cognitive dissonance. You have to agree that a black person who was looked down upon is the person who is now rising, is the person who is now knowing that Jesus was black. And how does this make you feel? You understand, this is not conspiracy or something, but I know some people will say that this is conspiracy. Jesus was black. There is nothing to argue about in regards to this. Here we go again. Today another person, tomorrow another person. People coming out trying to argue out what they really think how Jesus looks like. For me, I'll say, and this is time for us black people to accept that Jesus was black. And I know that in Africa, some people, if you sometimes ago, there's this Uber guy who carried me, and we were going to a place, and I saw a picture of the white Jesus. I've forgotten how he's called. He has a common name. Probably most of you know him. So, and I asked him, who is this in the picture? And they told me, that's Jesus. I asked him for the second time, who is this? And he told me, Jesus. I asked him for the third time, who is this? He told me, this is Jesus. And I said, like, do you know that this is not Jesus? And they lied to you. And they told me, what do you know about Jesus, you? And I told him that Jesus was black. And he told me that no, there is nothing like Jesus was black. This is Jesus. So this means that most of us, we have really grown knowing that the color of Jesus is white. And this is how we need to decolonize these pictures in our head, in our mind. And I know it will take long, because most of us, we grew watching the movies of especially Jesus, especially when Christmas was somewhere close. Yeah, it was somehow like a certain time that days usually had to happen. All we ever saw was the white Jesus. But I'm glad that we also have people in Africa, especially churches, independent churches like the Legio, which they usually conduct these services where they have their black Jesus, somebody who resembles Jesus who is black. That's really important, because the importance of this is that independent churches knew that there was something that the early churches were trying to lie to people. So they came out with they came out with what they believed to be true, and they started doing things their own way, retaining their spirituality at the same time, but also recognizing that there is a supreme being who had his own son, who is Yeshua. So we are seeing independent churches trying to come out, trying to do this what usually happens. And that was my commentary on that video. I hope that we really get to learn and we really get to understand how things really unraveled during those times. For a person who's still having cognitive dissonance in regards to how Jesus really looked like, man, you need to get over that. This is something that we don't even need to argue about. The truth is written in capital letters, and it's written on the wall. Jesus was black. What are you waiting for? For my fellow African people who are watching this video, or people with black descent who are watching this video, still doesn't believe that Jesus was black, you need to check really out. You need to read your Bible. You need to check the descriptions of Jesus. First, the Bible that I will recommend you to look like is the Bible, which really talks about description of the black Jesus. That is the King James Version. That's the Bible that most probably I'll recommend, because according to it, the descriptions that he gives about Jesus, it's really the depiction that most of people really align with. And I hope that this video was really helpful. This is your presenter, Eugene Talk Stories, and I hope to see you in my next video. Until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.